The mind is the architect of your existence, a boundless expanse where every thought and habit either nurtures growth or sows decay. Picture it as a garden, rich with potential, waiting for your intention to shape it. Will you cultivate vibrant flowers of purpose, resilience, and clarity? Or will you allow the quiet infiltration of weeds, negativity, bad habits, and stagnant relationships until they overrun your sanctuary? Often, the most dangerous intruders are not loud or obvious. They creep in silently, taking root before you even realize their presence. But what if you could reclaim this space? What if the year ahead became the moment you took deliberate control, sweeping away what drains you, what distracts you, what no longer serves the life you want to lead? This is not merely about decluttering your external world, but about unburdening your soul. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones, each one representing a habit, thought, or relationship that quietly weighs you down. Now, imagine setting it down, stone by stone, until you can walk freely again. This journey requires courage, intention, and wisdom. It's not about dramatic overnight transformations, but about quiet, steady progress. As the Stoics have long taught, mastery of the self is achieved not through grand gestures, but through daily practices and mindful decisions. It is a path of discipline and purpose, where even small shifts create profound ripples in your life. In the coming moments, we will explore 11 burdens to quietly eliminate mental clutter, emotional turmoil, and wasted energy. These lessons are inspired by ancient Stoic philosophy, yet their relevance is timeless. They will guide you toward cultivating a mind that is tranquil, focused, and resilient. This is your invitation to take a first step toward a life of greater clarity, balance, and fulfillment. Are you ready to transform your inner garden and reclaim the peace you deserve? Let's begin. 1. Letting go of the need for validation. Have you ever found yourself yearning for the approval of others, hoping that their understanding or recognition would somehow validate your worth? Perhaps you've replayed conversations in your mind, crafting explanations or justifications that you believe might finally make them see your side, understand your pain, or appreciate your efforts. But what if their approval never comes? What if their inability, or refusal, to acknowledge your perspective says more about them than it does about you? The Stoics teach us that placing our sense of worth in the hands of others is a futile endeavor, a quiet thief of peace and autonomy. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us to focus only on what lies within our control, our thoughts, actions, and responses. Seeking external validation places your peace of mind in the hands of others, tethering you to their perceptions, judgments, and whims, elements entirely outside your sphere of influence. In doing so, you surrender a piece of your emotional freedom, hoping for something that, in the end, may never arrive. The truth is, you owe no explanation to those who misunderstand you, especially if they've already shown they are unwilling to listen. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to win their approval, turn inward. Ask yourself, am I acting with integrity? Am I aligned with my values and principles? If the answer is yes, then you have all the validation you need. Their misunderstanding is not a reflection of your worth, but a limitation of their perspective. Imagine what you could achieve if you stopped giving power to those who do not deserve it. By releasing the need for their recognition, you reclaim the energy to focus on what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, and your peace. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion." In other words, you are not obligated to trouble your soul with the opinions of others, especially when those opinions are beyond your control. This is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending not to care. It's about redirecting your energy away from futile battles and towards self-mastery. Let your actions, your growth, and your calm resilience speak louder than any words ever could. When you free yourself from the chains of external validation, you open the door to a profound and unshakable peace, a peace that is yours to cultivate, nurture, and protect. 2. Silencing anger. Anger is a fire that, once kindled, often burns far beyond its intended mark. It may begin as a spark, a reaction to a perceived slight, a breach of trust, or an unmet expectation. But unchecked, it spreads, consuming not only the moment but your peace, your relationships, and your ability to think clearly. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that anger is one of the most destructive emotions, not because it exists, but because of how easily it can overwhelm reason and lead us to act against our better judgment. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, cautioned against the grievous consequences of anger, often far more severe than its initial cause. Consider the last time you allowed anger to dictate your actions. Did it bring resolution or deepen the conflict? Did it make you feel empowered, or did it leave you drained, regretful, and at odds with the person you aspire to be? Anger, when unleashed without restraint, clouds judgment, poisons relationships, and leaves behind scars that linger long after the heat of the moment has passed. But the Stoics offer a different path, one of self-control and wisdom. They remind us that while anger may arise naturally, we have the power to choose our response. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a step back. Breathe. Create space between the emotion and your action. This deliberate pause is not weakness but profound strength, a reflection of your ability to master yourself when the world around you feels chaotic. Epictetus advised us to examine the source of our anger, asking whether it will matter in a week, a month, or a year. Most of the time, the answer is no. By gaining this perspective, you begin to see anger for what it is, a fleeting emotion that rarely serves your long-term well-being. Imagine the freedom of walking away from situations that once consumed you, unburdened by the need to escalate or justify your feelings. This practice is not about suppressing emotions, but transforming them. By choosing calm over chaos, you not only de-escalate the situation, but also uphold your integrity. Your restraint becomes a beacon of inner strength, one that commands respect and fosters resolution. When you learn to silence anger, you reclaim your power to act with wisdom, to protect your peace, and to reflect the kind of person you truly wish to be. As the Stoics teach, the quieter you are, the louder your strength becomes. 3. Overcoming perfectionism. Perfectionism, at first glance, might seem like a noble pursuit. It's often disguised as a desire for excellence, a commitment to doing your best. But beneath this polished surface lies a more insidious truth. Perfectionism is not about striving for greatness, it's about fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not being good enough. It's a relentless critic, whispering that no matter how much you accomplish, it will never be sufficient. And in this endless chase for the unattainable, we lose sight of what truly matters: progress, growth, and the courage to act despite imperfection. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, warned against the paralyzing effects of perfectionism. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, observed, "While we wait for life, life passes us by." Perfectionism convinces us that we must wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect plan to begin. But as we wait, opportunities slip away, and life moves forward without us. The pursuit of perfection becomes a barrier, trapping us in hesitation and robbing us of the chance to embrace the beauty of imperfection. Consider this. Have you ever avoided starting something because you feared it wouldn't meet your impossible standards? Or perhaps you've poured countless hours into revising and refining something that was already more than sufficient. Perfectionism drains our time, energy, and peace, leaving us perpetually dissatisfied, unable to appreciate the effort and progress we've made. The Stoics remind us that the pursuit of perfection is not only unrealistic, but also unwise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not be ashamed of mistakes and thus make them crimes." Mistakes, he believed, are essential. They are the very foundation of growth, learning, and wisdom. The antidote to perfectionism lies in shifting your focus. Instead of fixating on flawless outcomes, concentrate on your effort and integrity. Embrace the process, knowing that each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Progress, not perfection, is what truly enriches our lives. By letting go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself to start, to try, and to learn without the weight of impossible expectations. This doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. It means recognizing that good enough is often more than enough. It means celebrating your accomplishments instead of dwelling on perceived flaws. As the Stoics teach, life is not a static masterpiece to be perfected, but a dynamic journey of growth and self-discovery. Show up, do your best, and let go of the rest. In this way, you will find not only progress but also the freedom to live fully, unburdened by the impossible pursuit of perfection. 4. Avoiding comparison. Comparison is a subtle thief, slipping into your thoughts and quietly stealing your joy. It often begins innocently enough. A glance at someone else's accomplishments, their lifestyle, or their seemingly effortless success. But before long, it morphs into a relentless voice, asking, "Why am I not there yet? Why am I not as successful, as happy, or as complete as they appear to be?" This habit of measuring ourselves against others doesn't just drain our confidence. It blinds us to our own progress and worth, anchoring us in a cycle of inadequacy and dissatisfaction. The Stoics recognized this tendency and offered a timeless remedy. Focus solely on your own path. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, implored us not to waste what remains of our lives by speculating about others. He wrote, "It will keep you from doing anything useful." By looking outward and measuring our lives against someone else's, we rob ourselves of the energy and focus needed for our own growth. Each life, the Stoics remind us, is shaped by unique circumstances, challenges, and choices. Comparing your journey to another's is both unfair and illogical. Think of social media today, a carefully curated highlight reel showcasing the best moments of others' lives. It's easy to see their achievements, vacations, or milestones and believe that their reality is perfect. But these snapshots are just that, moments, often stripped of the struggles, sacrifices, and uncertainties that lie behind them. Comparing your unfiltered life to their edited highlights is like judging the depth of the ocean by the surface alone. Instead, the Stoics urge us to turn inward. Ask yourself, am I improving today compared to who I was yesterday? This is the only comparison that truly matters. Epictetus taught us to disregard what lies outside our control, others' achievements, opinions, or circumstances, and to focus on what we can influence, our own actions, thoughts, and progress. When you shift your attention to your own growth, the noise of comparison fades, replaced by a clear sense of purpose and direction. Imagine climbing a mountain, but instead of focusing on your footing and ascent, you constantly look to someone else's path. You lose sight of your own progress and risk faltering. By keeping your eyes on your journey, you not only move forward but also appreciate the unique challenges and triumphs that define your climb. Life, the Stoics remind us, is not a race but a process of discovery, growth, and fulfillment. Define success on your own terms, rooted in your values, progress, and purpose, and you'll find a contentment that no comparison can take away. 5. Releasing unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations are silent burdens we carry, often without realizing it. We expect people to act a certain way, circumstances to unfold according to our plans, and life to be fair and predictable. But when reality deviates, and it inevitably will. We are left with frustration, anger, and a sense of betrayal. The Stoics remind us that this suffering does not arise from life itself, but from our attachment to how we believe life should be. It's not the world that disappoints us. It's the illusion we impose upon it. Epictetus, a master of Stoic philosophy, teaches that we are disturbed not by events, but by our judgments about them. When we hold rigid expectations of people, outcomes, or even ourselves, we set ourselves up for disappointment. For example, we might expect someone to meet our unspoken needs or for success to come without hardship. When these expectations go unmet, the blame feels external, but the real issue lies within. Our unwillingness to accept life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. Consider your relationships. How often do conflicts arise because we impose our expectations on others? We want them to know what we need, act in ways that align with our ideals, or fulfill roles we've assigned them in our minds. But people are not extensions of our desires. They are individuals with their own complexities and limitations. The Stoics encourage us to shift our mindset. Instead of thinking, "They should have done this," ask, "What can I do in this situation? How can I respond with wisdom and grace?" This shift doesn't just alleviate disappointment, it empowers us to act with purpose and integrity. Life itself is no different. We often expect success without effort, joy without hardship, and progress without setbacks. Yet Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the world is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Accepting this truth liberates us from the weight of unrealistic expectations and allows us to navigate life with resilience and clarity. Obstacles are no longer seen as personal failures, but as opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. By releasing the shoulds and musts we impose on life, we free ourselves to embrace reality as it unfolds. This doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or abandoning ambition. It means aligning our goals and efforts with what we can control, while meeting the unexpected with flexibility and courage. When we let go of unrealistic expectations, we gain the ability to see life for what it truly is, a dynamic, ever-changing journey rich with lessons and opportunities. This acceptance is not resignation. It's a profound act of strength, allowing us to live fully and authentically in the present moment. 6. Resisting gossip. Gossip is a deceptively easy trap to fall into. It often begins with harmless curiosity or a need to bond with others over shared opinions. Yet, as the words spill out, something deeper is at play. An erosion of trust, a compromise of character, and a redirection of focus away from self-improvement. The Stoics recognized gossip as not merely a social misstep, but a profound waste of one's energy and integrity. As Seneca wisely observed, speech reflects the soul. As a man speaks, so is he. When you engage in gossip, you are not only tearing down another person, but also chipping away at your own moral foundation. Gossip thrives on judgment, often born from insecurity. By focusing on the flaws or failures of others, we momentarily distract ourselves from our own imperfections. But this fleeting sense of superiority comes at a cost. It feeds into negativity, disrupts our peace, and diverts us from meaningful growth. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies not in tearing others down, but in building ourselves up through discipline and self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." To engage in gossip is to mimic the very behaviors we might criticize in others. Furthermore, gossip rarely stays contained. Like a fire, it spreads, distorting truths and creating unnecessary conflict. What begins as idle chatter can lead to fractured relationships, broken trust, and reputational damage, for both the subject and the speaker. The Stoics remind us that our words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. They ripple outward, carrying consequences far beyond the moment. To resist gossip is to choose integrity over impulse. The next time you find yourself in a conversation veering toward negativity, pause and ask yourself, is this true? Is this kind? Is this necessary? If the answer is no, then silence becomes the wisest response. This discipline not only preserves your peace, but also fosters an environment of trust and respect. By refusing to engage in gossip, you become someone others can rely on. A person who speaks with intention and values the dignity of others, even in their absence. Resisting gossip is not about ignoring others' flaws or pretending life is perfect. It's about focusing on what you can control, your actions, your growth, and your example. When you rise above the noise of gossip, you elevate your character and create space for self-improvement. The Stoics remind us that our actions, no matter how small, shape who we are. By choosing to speak only what uplifts and inspires, you build a life rooted in virtue, discipline, and trustworthiness. A life that reflects the best version of yourself. 7. Reducing mindless social media use. Social media is one of the greatest paradoxes of our time. A tool with the potential to connect, inspire, and educate, yet often wielded in ways that distract, drain, and distort. How often have you picked up your phone to check a single notification, only to find an hour has vanished into a haze of endless scrolling? Instead of feeling refreshed or informed, you're left with a sense of emptiness, your focus scattered, and your time irretrievably lost. The Stoics, though living in a time devoid of algorithms and screens, would recognize this as a profound misuse of one of life's most precious resources, attention. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not let your mind be enslaved by what is beyond your control. Social media, when used mindlessly, becomes a thief of clarity, hijacking your attention and pulling you away from the present moment. It's not the tool itself that's the issue, it's how we engage with it. Instead of using social media intentionally, many of us allow it to dictate our thoughts, emotions, and self-perception. The curated highlight reels of others' lives, the endless stream of notifications, and the lure of novelty all conspire to keep us scrolling, often to the detriment of our well-being. But the cost of mindless scrolling goes beyond wasted time. It shapes how we see ourselves and the world around us. The flawless images and success stories we encounter online are often illusions, carefully crafted snapshots that obscure the struggles, sacrifices, and imperfections behind them. Comparing your unfiltered reality to this curated facade not only fosters inadequacy, but also blinds you to the richness of your own life. The Stoics teach us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and the way we spend our time. Social media's influence lies outside this realm, making it essential to approach it with caution and intention. The solution lies in mindful use. Decide how much time you want to spend online each day and stick to it. Curate your feed to include accounts that uplift, educate, and inspire you. Unfollow or mute those that evoke envy, comparison, or negativity. Most importantly, be present when engaging with social media. Use it as a tool to add value to your life, not as a distraction from it. Imagine reclaiming the hours lost to mindless scrolling and redirecting them toward pursuits that truly matter. Whether it's deepening relationships, learning a skill, or simply savoring moments of quiet reflection, the time you save is an investment in your growth and fulfillment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Don't let your days slip away staring at a screen. Choose to be intentional, present, and in control of how you spend the gift of time. By mastering your attention, you take a powerful step toward mastering yourself. 8. Refraining from ruminating on the past. The past has a way of holding us hostage, not through its events, but through the power we give it in our minds. How often do we replay conversations, agonizing over what we should have said? How often do we revisit painful moments, dissecting them in search of understanding or justice. While reflection can be a tool for growth, rumination is a trap, a mental loop that drains your energy and keeps you tethered to what can no longer be changed. The Stoics teach us that our peace lies not in reliving the past, but in mastering the present. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By fixating on past hurts, mistakes, or failures, we allow those moments to control us long after they've ended. In essence, we are reliving the pain, giving it power over our current peace and progress. The time and energy spent ruminating could instead be channeled toward healing, growth, and the pursuit of what truly matters. Letting go does not mean denying the emotions or lessons the past holds. It means acknowledging them, learning from them, and then releasing them. Imagine carrying a heavy stone in your hand. Its weight grows more unbearable the longer you hold on. The same is true of the burdens we carry from the past. The act of letting go is not one of weakness, but of profound strength. It's a declaration that your life is worth more than the shadows of yesterday. Instead of replaying the past, focus on what is within your control now. How can you grow from that experience? What can you do today to build the life you want? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Redirect the energy once spent on rumination toward actions that bring clarity and purpose to your life. By choosing to silence the echoes of the past, you make room for the voice of the present. This doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer allowing the past to dictate your future. Let your growth and your resilience speak louder than your regrets. In doing so, you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your freedom. The past has no power unless you grant it. Choose to let go, and you will find that the weight of yesterday no longer burdens the promise of today. 9. Abandoning superficial goals. In a world that constantly urges us to chase more possessions, more accolades, more recognition, it's easy to mistake busyness for purpose. We climb ladders of achievement without questioning whether they lean against walls worth scaling. Yet, the Stoics remind us that not all pursuits are equal. Superficial goals, those rooted in societal pressures or fleeting desires, often lead to hollow victories. They consume our time and energy but fail to nourish our souls. The true danger lies in their ability to distract us from what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius reflected, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This powerful reminder compels us to evaluate our pursuits. Are they aligned with our values and principles, or are they mere attempts to keep up with others? Chasing goals that look impressive to the outside world but feel empty within only leads to dissatisfaction. It's like filling a jar with water that leaks through cracks. It can never be full, no matter how much you pour into it. Superficial goals often stem from external validation and fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of judgment, or fear of confronting our deeper desires. They create an illusion of progress while keeping us stuck in a cycle of busyness without meaning. The Stoics challenge us to step back and reflect. Am I living intentionally? Do my actions align with the person I strive to become? These questions cut through the noise, helping us identify pursuits that bring genuine fulfillment. Imagine redirecting your energy toward goals that enrich your character and serve a higher purpose. Instead of striving for possessions or titles, focus on wisdom, courage, and integrity, virtues that the Stoics held as the highest achievements. These goals not only strengthen your inner life, but also ripple outward, positively impacting the people and world around you. As Epictetus put it, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Let go of the need to excel in everything and focus on what truly resonates with your values. By abandoning superficial goals, you create space for deeper, more meaningful pursuits. This doesn't mean rejecting ambition. It means refining it. Align your ambitions with what truly matters, and you'll find that your efforts lead not only to success but to a profound sense of purpose. The Stoics teach us that life's brevity is not something to fear but to embrace, using every moment wisely. Pursue the goals that matter and leave the rest behind. In doing so, you'll discover a life not of excess but of meaning and fulfillment. 10. Embracing change. Change is the one constant in life, yet it often feels like an unwelcome guest. It disrupts the familiar, challenges our comfort zones, and forces us to confront the unknown. Whether it's the end of a relationship, a career shift, or an unforeseen life event, change can feel like stepping into darkness without a map. The Stoics, however, saw change not as an adversary but as a necessary force of growth and renewal. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things which are and to make new things like them." Change, in this view, is not something to resist but a process to embrace. Resistance to change stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. We cling to what feels safe, even when it no longer serves us, because familiarity offers the illusion of control. But the Stoics remind us that clinging to the unchangeable is futile. Life, like the rivers that flow and the seasons that shift, is inherently fluid. By resisting its natural course, we create unnecessary suffering. Instead, we must learn to move with life's currents, adapting with grace and courage. Epictetus advised reflecting on what lies within our control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. While we cannot dictate the changes life brings, we can choose how we respond. Each change, no matter how challenging, holds the potential for growth, teaching us resilience, adaptability, and wisdom. The Stoics urge us to view change as a catalyst, a doorway to new opportunities, perspectives, and strength. What appears as an obstacle is often the very path forward. Think of the most meaningful moments in your life. They likely came not from remaining stagnant, but from stepping into the unknown, whether by choice or necessity. Change forces us to adapt, to rethink, and to grow into stronger versions of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully. What stands in the way becomes the way. The challenges that accompany change are not barriers. They are the means by which we evolve. To embrace change is to let go of what was and welcome what could be. It is not about suppressing fear but moving forward despite it. By shifting our perspective, we can see change not as a loss but as an opportunity, a chance to shed old patterns, explore new possibilities, and align more deeply with our values. Life is not static, nor should it be. In the words of Seneca, a wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. Accepting change with courage and curiosity allows us to grow into the fullness of our potential, one transformation at a time. 11. Letting go of fear of judgment. The fear of judgment is a silent chain that binds us to the expectations of others, dictating how we act, speak, and even think. We tailor our choices to gain approval, fearing that stepping outside the lines will invite criticism or rejection. Yet, in doing so, we sacrifice something far greater: our authenticity. The Stoics recognize this peril, teaching that the opinions of others are not within our control and, therefore, should hold no power over our peace or purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It matters what you think of yourself." Consider how much of your life has been shaped by the need for external validation. Perhaps you've hesitated to voice your true thoughts or pursued goals that felt hollow but were socially applauded. The Stoics remind us that living for the applause of others is an endless chase, one that leaves you exhausted and unfulfilled. People's opinions are as fleeting as they are varied, and tying your self-worth to them is like building a foundation on shifting sand. Epictetus put it succinctly, If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. If you need a witness, be your own. True freedom comes when you release the need for others' approval and focus instead on living in alignment with your values. Ask yourself, am I acting with integrity? Am I pursuing what truly matters to me? If the answer is yes, then no external opinion can diminish your worth. The courage to stand firm in your convictions, even in the face of criticism, is the hallmark of inner strength. Imagine the power of living a life untethered from the judgments of others. Instead of seeking their validation, you channel your energy into becoming the best version of yourself, one rooted in purpose, guided by principles, and unshaken by the shifting winds of opinion. As the Stoics teach, your character and actions are the true measure of your worth, not the fleeting applause of the crowd. Letting go of the fear of judgment doesn't mean ignoring feedback or rejecting relationships. It means placing your focus where it belongs, on what you can control. When you live authentically, your confidence grows not from external affirmation, but from the quiet assurance that you are living in alignment with your highest self. Over time, this freedom becomes a profound source of peace, allowing you to move through life with clarity and purpose. By releasing the weight of others' opinions, you reclaim your power, choosing a path of courage, integrity, and fulfillment. Conclusion: life is a series of choices, and each choice shapes the garden of your mind. By letting go of what no longer serves you, be it toxic habits, unhelpful thoughts, or superficial goals, you create space for growth, clarity, and peace. The Stoics remind us that the path to a meaningful life is not paved with perfection or external accolades, but with intention, self-discipline, and alignment with our deepest values. Every small shift you make today is a step toward the person you aspire to become. As you reflect on the 11 things to quietly eliminate from your life, remember this: transformation is not an overnight process. It is a journey of steady, deliberate progress. Each decision to let go of negativity or embrace resilience is an investment in your future self, a self that will look back with gratitude for the courage you showed in this moment. If you found wisdom and inspiration in this journey, consider joining us as we continue to explore the timeless teachings of Stoicism and ancient philosophy. Subscribe to this channel to stay connected with more insights that challenge your mind, strengthen your spirit, and empower you to live with purpose. Together, we'll continue this path of growth and self-discovery, one step at a time. Thank you for being here today, for choosing to nurture the garden of your mind, and for seeking a life of greater clarity and fulfillment. Remember, the power to change your life lies within your hands. Start today, and let's walk this journey of wisdom together. See you in the next video. Take care.